directly to the top chat.
And we are live.
Let me allow me to just say
on YouTube at least.
Allow me just to say, YouTube, you gotta fix it, bruh.
Something is
You gotta fix it. Cause the default being the top chat is useless and ass. It just is. I don't know anybody that needs to see it.
Yeah.
It should just be the live chat.
So I guess it possibly can come in handy if you got thousands of people commenting in your chat. So maybe there should be a threshold.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you shouldn't, if I have 13 people watching, there is no need for there to be
no,
not
like this. Not like this.
Not like this.
It's simply not necessary.
It really isn't. It really isn't. I don't know. So we are. Let's see. It's It's 11:05. 06 now. So it's still relatively early.
Sure.
So I'm thinking, sure, let's do the intro.
yeah, we could do that.
Me.
What's up, Betty?
Hey, Betty. Welcome, everyone, to the Black Culture Geeks podcast. This is my man, SPJ.
You.
And I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and we are just a couple of geeks talking about pop culture from a black perspective. Facts indeed. Listen, the world's on fire.
Nigga.
Most of you are just a bird in the sky while the world's on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that the moment you hit the ground, you are fricasseed. You are marinated. You are roasted on a spit. And it's got you all doing loopy shit. And look, it's relatable. I certainly understand, like these times we are in now are a new thing for all of us in this generation.
Also, in general, who don't like doing stupid shit?
Who don't like doing stupid shit, and also who don't like frying birds? Chicken is delicious.
Listen.
Chicken is 100% delicious. However, see us as that one branch on that one tree that has not caught fire yet. Land here. Land here. Now, we cannot guarantee how long it will be until the fire consumes us as well. But for the time being, this is a safe harbor for all of you to land and to observe the rest of the world on fire and to put together your last words. Now, if it was me, if I was the bird, my last words would be all curses.
Sure.
Because fuck y'all for doing this. Fuck y'all for doing this to this world.
That part.
Fuck you for that. My computer, as soon as you turn it on, you got those screensavers that pops up. And because of the ones I prefer, they are typically landscape shit. Various places around the world where you see some of the illest scenic views, most of which I have never seen in person, that I would have liked to one day. When I think about what this place was, as opposed to what you apes, you one species, that hasn't even been here the longest. One species it is potentially about to do some fuck shit that's going to fuck it up for every other species on the planet, including themselves. it really validates everything I've ever said about you fucking apes in my music. That's not a good thing for me.
Right.
Because I would have liked to have been wrong about that shit. Y'all suck.
Huh.
In almost every way possible.
Yeah.
With almost every orifice possible. World's on fire, missiles flying, people in the streets, cats and dogs living together. We don't know really what to say to y'all half the time. So the only thing we can say is you suck.
Well, yeah.
We just find eloquent ways to say that. And we give examples. But sometimes people bet hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and focus on stuff that ain't really all that important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a nice distraction. It's what helps keep you sane. So we're all not running down the street, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? With our hair on fire and shit. In my case, my beard on fire.
Right.
And that's what some of the day's gonna be. Sit back and enjoy as we take a journey. One.
Hold up. I gotta change something. Something's wrong. Something's happening. I'll be right back.
Oh.
Let me change this to this.
Okay. That sounds different.
And then change this to this.
That sounds different.
Okay. That's better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure what you was over there doing.
I don't fucking know. Listen, I have no idea what happened.
He was in there experimenting like Prince in the studio.
I don't know what was going on. I might have to update my drivers.
Sound card.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I haven't updated my sound card in a while. Although, if I'm not mistaken, do I have it on auto? I have to check.
What up, Lost?
What's up, Lost? We are all lost indeed.
Okay.
We are all lost. Speaking of that, being lost.
Yeah. So there are several things to talk about today. Let's start with this because I want to be absolutely clear and want to be sure that I did this. I feel like I might have. I just don't remember, and I didn't feel like going back to looking, and it bears repeating. So, Divine, update. Like I said, I don't remember if I did this last week, but Chrissy has been made whole as far as those 401k contributions.
Thank you, Divine.
The amount of people reaching out to us has slowed down.
That's good.
But some of that is because people are leaving left and right. Yeah, there have been a lot of people that have left.
I don't see how that could be true because
everybody's so happy.
Everybody's happy.
Yeah, but no, there's people leaving left and right. So there's that. So until something else pops up, this will be the last update on those guys. I sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, hope that whatever has to happen for the employees they have and the community they serve to be treated properly, that it happens.
Agreed.
Bar nothing.
Agreed.
Whatever has to happen. All right, so that's that. Now, I'll let you choose, Tim. Would you like to start? So there are 3 topics. 2 of them are potentially depressing and angering. One of them is nonsensical and potentially angering. Which one? Which one do you want to start with?
Let's go with the nonsensical one.
Okay. We'll get the funny shit out the way first.
Yeah, because I'm in that mode. I know I'm gonna be not in that mode later, especially some of the stuff I gotta talk about on my week. So
right. All right. So Jim Jones. Jimmy.
You mean the cult leader?
No, not. I mean, actually.
Damn.
Not the Kool-Aid guy, but. But another person who could be considered a cult leader. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, probably, right? Put this little thing together. Here's an empirical and cultural analysis of stature in hip hop, deconstructing the Jim Jones versus Nas debate. So,
wait a minute. First of all, why is there a debate?
So, there was this podcast. I don't even remember the name of the podcast. I ain't never seen the podcast before, but it was a podcast. I saw a clip of it. It was talking about who's the better. Actually, I did see a clip of the podcast before. I guess it was a segment that they do. I don't remember if it was the same episode or not, but I do remember, if memory serves, I'm pretty sure it was the same people having this conversation. The first one I ever saw them was 2 young dudes saying that Jordan wasn't top 5 or something like that. And it's a very similar argument to this argument that we're having. It's basically Jordan's not top 5 and all this stuff about how, not understanding how change and evolution happens in a medium is basically what it boiled down to. Like, everybody has opinions.
Nobody don't understand it.
Well, there's a myriad.
Really?
The hasn't been that system. Long.
Well, that's been asked for a minute, but it hasn't really been that long since they got off the potty. So, that's
the whole thing. So, this most recent thing was that Jim Jones is a better. I don't want to misquote them. I don't remember if they said rapper or artist, but
they were saying more relevant.
Yes, that specifically came up. The Nas, right? So, Fat Joe, who we'll talk about in a minute, and Jadakiss have a new podcast, and they had Jim Jones on there, and the topic came up, and he started going on this rant talking about, I look at the Billboard. I got more Billboard success than Nas. We're going to get there in a second, too.
Yeah.
So, like I said, the debate was reignited during an interview on Joe and Jada podcast, platform hosted by, of course, Fat Joe, Jadakiss. In a moment that quickly went viral, Jim Jones issued a direct challenge to anyone questioning his standing in the hip-hop pantheon, using Nas as his primary foil. Quote, check my track record. What up, sis? Check my record. Check everybody else's track record. Then go to Billboard and check all my entries. Then check all them niggas' entries. I've been spanking a lot of this shit. Pull up Nas' Billboard entries, then pull up my Billboard entries. Jones expanded on this, asserting he possessed a, quote, hell of a catalog filled with, quote, gold records, platinum records.
He's been saying that for a minute now.
Achieved independently of his work with the Diplomats. To bolster his argument for contemporary relevance, he added a pointedly anecdotal piece of evidence. Quote, my son can't tell me one Nas record. End quote. This statement framed the debate not just around historical success, but around a perceived generational divide in music taste and cultural memory. The reaction from his host was immediate and telling. Kiss wasn't having that shit. He ain't say nothing, but his face.
Yeah.
And Joe was pushing back. Observers noted Jadakiss' palpable discomfort, describing his response as an eye roll of secondhand embarrassment, and outright disgust at the notion of the comparison, providing an instant peer-level verdict on the claim's validity. Now, before we go any further with that, let's just put this part out here. Let's put this into your brain. This idea that is trying to be pushed is that Nas is an old and washed rapper and Jim Jones is the hot newness. Now,
that's funny.
Nas is like 4 years older than Jim Jones.
3. Yeah.
So,
old and washed. Old and washed, new hotness. Is that what you're saying? Okay.
That's simply not the case. Now, Jim Jones started after Nas started, but not that goddamn long afterwards. Like, we're not doing that. And for him to try to act like that, like, yo, you still banging blood, my guy. And you're a celebrity, so you don't have to.
Yo, you saying that right there is, I think, at the heart of what all of this is about.
Right.
Nas presents like a grown man.
Mm-hmm. Like a distinguished gentleman.
Yeah.
If you will.
Jim Jones does not.
At all.
So, of course, who are the YNs
right
going to see as more relatable to them? But what I would say to them is simply this. In your neighborhoods, when there's an old nigga in there that's still out there doing what y'all did, how y'all see him there?
Mm-hmm.
Then why is that any different? This, right? Like, not to disrespect Jim Jones and what he's done and his impact, but the question I always say to people is, when you make these comparisons, I need to see at least one thing. Who are you? Who were you in your era, and who was he in his?
Yeah.
So even if you sold more records, if you were 20, top 20, top 50 or some shit, and you sold more records, and in his time, he was clearly going away, one of the people they saw as a god, and you were just, oh yeah, we like him.
Yeah.
It's not this. I don't care that you sold more records. We're talking about what impact, because you said relevance.
Well, I'm also disappointed with some of these old ass. Hold up. Let me breathe. Let me calm down. Let me reflect a little bit. I have a level of disappointment with some of our legends.
Same.
As far as their opinions and their actions on certain things. Right?
Same.
I'll give a lesser example to ease into the situation, because this one I'm not that upset with.
Right.
Bun B spoke on Travis Scott and Pusha T.
Oh yeah.
I'm not disappointed in Bun B, because what he said, I think he gave Travis too much credit.
I did too.
But also, he's from Houston.
Yeah.
So that's true. That Houston thing, I get that. Yeah.
Then he did give him too much credit though. Yeah. That part stuck out. Like, I wasn't mad at some of that part stuck out to me. Like,
it was the credit part. I was like, all right, Bun, come on, my guy. All right, so that one I wasn't disappointed in at all. But that was just an old head take. That's like, huh? Like, what do you? Yeah. Then the other extreme of that, Willie D, having Vlad on his platform and giving him a mea culpa about the Farrakhan thing. Now, again, I don't remember if I've publicly said it, but I have my feelings about Farrakhan.
Yeah, everybody.
That's not the point, though. It's the principle of everything that happened with that fiasco. We're not going to relitigate it right now.
Right.
But like that was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why would you? Why give him an in? Because it's going to be niggas that see this,
yep,
and see that you were accepting of it, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, all right, we can fuck with Vlad now." Like,
yes.
No, I don't like that shit. And then in the middle is something like this. Chuck D offered a crucial framework for understanding Jones' comments. He positioned the boast within the accepted conventions of hip-hop's competitive ethos, distinguishing between artistic posturing and factual assertion. Quote, part of the thing is like boxing. Rapping, you're supposed to believe and think you are the best at something. That part I'm not mad at. Absolutely. You are supposed
I was about to parse part of that with the usual braggadocio that is supposed to be.
That part I'm not mad at all. It's this next part that pissed me off. Jim Jones supposed to boast and brag and have rap ego. It's art, ain't gotta be fact like sports. Hold up. When you start talking numbers and figures.
Hey man, whoa. He said what?
He said Jim Jones supposed to boast and brag and have rap ego. It's art, ain't gotta be a fact like sports. No, nigga, when you start talking facts and figures, there has to be facts and figures.
Yes.
What are facts and figures? They are facts. Like, what are we talking about? What the fuck is happening to the legends? What are y'all doing?
No. I'm gonna tell you what's happening.
They're getting old.
Yes.
And not just, we're not talking about age.
It's inevitable for a lot. Listen, the percentage wise, how many people do? It's hard to find a balance between aging gracefully and still staying on the cutting edge of shit, which is why we have a Jim Jones. Because he's an example of someone that's not handling that part well, right? Like he's almost 50 years old, and like you said, he still dresses like a YN, still claims he's blood and all this stuff, and maybe in other aspects of his life, he is the mature, graceful man. And to be clear, there are some things that Jim will do. I think people really oversold this idea that Jimmy be getting niggas locked up because his persona. I think niggas oversold that. The reason why I say that is because I've watched a lot of Jimmy's content outside of rap, and I've seen him literally create opportunities for young motherfuckers in them hooded areas. So whatever wrong he may be doing, y'all can't act like he's only doing wrong.
That part.
That's not what it is. Now, I'll let you decide whether the wrong he does overshadows good or not. That's another argument. But we're not gonna act like that his whole intent is to get little niggas locked up, because I don't believe that. Like I said, I've seen him do enough things in his community where I don't accept that. I don't accept it.
Absolutely. So I jumped ahead of myself a little bit, but I'm still gonna read it. This perspective is essential. Standard hip hop boasts about being the realest, the most lyrical, the most influential, are inherently subjective and designed to fuel endless debate. However, Jones's claim committed a strategic error by venturing into the realm of the falsifiable. By challenging listeners to pull up the Billboard entries.
Right, I was thinking
he shifted his argument from the amorphous world of artistic opinion to the concrete world of data. He presented a specific quantifiable hypothesis that could be tested, and as this report will demonstrate, definitively refuted. The core of the controversy lies not in the act of comparing himself to a legend, but in using a demonstrably false metric as the primary evidence for his superiority. Furthermore, his comment about his son was a deliberate attempt to reframe the definition of relevance. It posits a world where the enduring recognition of club anthems among younger playlist-driven listeners might outweigh the classic status of lyrical albums revered by connoisseurs. This sets up a central tension that this analysis will explore. Is an artist's legacy measured by their foundational impact on the art form or by their lingering presence in contemporary pop culture? Jones' provocation, therefore, serves as a proxy war over the very definition of artistic relevance in the streaming era. So, at the heart of Jim Jones' claim is a direct challenge to compare his commercial success against that of Nas, specifically through the lens of Billboard chart performance. An empirical, data-driven analysis of their respective careers on the industry's benchmark charts, the Billboard Hot 100 for singles and the Billboard 200 for albums, provides a definitive answer to this challenge. The data reveals not a competitive rivalry, but a categorical disparity that overwhelmingly favors Nas. Billboard Hot 100 singles chart tracks the most popular songs in the U.S. across all genres, making it the premier standard for single success. A direct comparison of their entries on this chart immediately undermines Jones's claim. Nas, throughout his career, has placed 27 entries on the Billboard Hot 100 as a lead or feature artist. This includes 2 top 10 hits, which is Hot Boys with Missy Elliott, which peaked at 5, and his collaboration with J-Lo, I'm Gonna Be Alright, which reached number 10. His most successful solo single is the song I Can. It peaked at number 12. Mm-hmm. Jones, as a solo artist, has charted 2 songs on the Billboard Hot 100. 2 songs.
Come on.
2.
Bro. Come on.
His biggest hit
Deuce
is We Fly High, Ballin', of course, soared to number 5. His follow-up, Pop Champagne, reached number 22. The numbers present a clear and unambiguous conclusion. Nas has over 13 times more entries on the Billboard Hot 100 than Jim Jones. Let's go to albums. While singles demonstrate popular reach, the Billboard 200 albums chart is the ultimate measure of an artist's ability to sell a complete body of work, reflecting a deeper level of fan investment and career longevity. Here, the gap between the 2 artists widens into a chasm. Nas has charted an astounding 27 albums on the Billboard 200. Of these, 16 have landed in the top 10, a feat that ties him with Jay-Z for the most top 10 albums. What up, Ryan?
What up, Ron?
Ties him with Jay-Z for the most top 10 albums by any hip-hop artist. Furthermore, 6 of his albums have reached number 1. It Was Written, I Am, The Firm, Hip Hop Is Dead, Untitled, and Life Is Good. Illmatic peaked at number 12, and his recent renaissance with Hit Boy has seen King's Disease 2 and King's Disease 3 debut at 3 and 10, respectively.
Yeah.
Jim Jones has charted 7 solo albums in the Billboard 200. His commercial prime occurred in the mid to late 2000s with 5 albums reaching the top 20. The following table provides a start at a glance visualization of this disparity. Top Billboard Hot 100 entries, Nas 27, Jim Jones 2. Top 10, 100, Nas 2, Jim Jones 1. Top Billboard 200 albums charted, 27 to 7. Top 10 albums, 16 to 3. Number 1 albums, 6 to 0. Beyond weekly chart positions, the Recording Industry Association of America provides certifications for gold, platinum, multi-platinum status, and diamond, of course, measuring sustained commercial impact over time. This data further illustrates the different scales of success the 2 artists have achieved. Nas, his catalog is laden with RIAA plaques for full-length albums, signifying a fan base that has consistently purchased his work for nearly 3 decades. His certifications include It Was Written, 3 times platinum, Illmatic, 2 times platinum, I Am, 2 times platinum, Stillmatic, Godson, Nostradamus, Street Cycle, all platinum. Hip Hop Is Dead, Untitled, Life Is Good, all gold. Jim Jones' most significant RIAA awards are for his hit singles, not his albums. There's no evidence of any kind of his solo albums receiving a gold or a platinum certification from the RIAA.
So we lying.
His key certifications are for Ballin', it only went platinum. Ballin'. You know how that's his claim to fame.
Yeah.
It's a single.
And it only went
went platinum. It only went single platinum. Pop Champagne, gold, and we set the trends with the Migos, gold. The data clearly reveals two fundamentally different commercial profiles. Nas is a catalog artist, a rare breed whose legacy is built on the consistent, long-term, multi-million unit sales of his 4 albums. His audience invests in his complete artistic statements. Jim Jones, by contrast, is a hit maker whose career is defined by massive culture-shifting singles that drove his commercial peaks. When Jones boasts of having gold records, platinum records, he's referring to those singles. He then conflates this achievement with the broader album-centric success
and it is not the same
artist in Nas tier, creating a misleading equivalence. The empirical evidence shows that while both have achieved significant commercial success, they have done so on vastly different scales and through different means. Beyond the numbers, let's step beyond the numbers. Lyrical acclaim and critical reception.
Nigga. I don't even know do we need to do this section? Especially that last shit he dropped, that this. Come on, bro.
I'll just read a part of each.
Yeah, because that's insulting. Nas, that people don't know that Nas is a rapper.
Illmatic frequently cited as the greatest hip hop album of all time.
How old was Nas when he wrote Illmatic?
He was in his teens,
like 18 or some shit,
something like that.
All right.
His complex rhyme schemes, vivid storytelling, and philosophical depth set a new standard for lyricism, influencing generations of elite MCs, including J. Cole and Kendrick Lamar, who have both cited him as primary inspiration. Jones, on the other hand, El Capo,
which also cited Nas as
absolutely
and all of that too.
El Capo, I don't remember what number album this was for him, but it earned him widespread respect for a markedly improved pen game and a keen ear for production, surprising critics and fans who had previously dismissed his lyrical abilities. This narrative arc, from perceived weak link to a respected veteran, is a compelling testament to his dedication, but it stands in stark contrast to Nas's status as a natural-born prodigy who redefined the art form from his very first appearance.
Nas was 20 years old when he dropped Illmatic, by the way.
Which means he was probably 18, 19 when he wrote it.
Yeah.
What up, Honey Dragon? Next section is Street Legend versus Global Icon. Because, nigga. Right. Like, what? Yeah.
There's a difference.
I'm not even going to read that one because you know which one is which. Like,
right.
The next one is industry accolades and peer esteem. Grammy Awards. After 13 nominations over a quarter century, Nas won his first Grammy in 2021 for King's Disease in the Best Rap Album category. Across his career, he has garnered a total of 17 Grammy noms, a testament to his consistent recognition at the highest level of the industry. In contrast, the research provides no evidence that Jim Jones has ever received a Grammy nomination for his solo work. Most notable Grammy-related story involving him is a humorous 2018 incident where many viewers mistook reggae star Shaggy for Jim Jones during their televised performance. Peer esteem, the most immediate and potent measure of peer esteem was Jadakiss's live reaction on the podcast. His visible discomfort and dismissiveness spoke volumes, reflecting a widely held sentiment within the hip-hop community that the comparison itself was disrespectful to Nas's life.
It's insulting. Insulting.
Ultimately, there's a duality of influence, right? Jim Jones and Dipset were masters of the aesthetic, leaving an indelible mark on the style and culture of an era. Nas is a master of the foundational, leaving an indelible mark on the art form itself.
Yeah. It's not.
Compare the two is a false equivalency, akin to comparing the influence of a star player's iconic signature shoe to the influence of the person who invented the three-point line. Both are impactful, but one fundamentally changed the game itself.
Listen, bro. Look, we not here to disrespect Jimmy. That's not.
I mean,
but we here to tell
a little bit. I'm fine with a little Jimmy slander.
So,
just because he deigned to say this shit out of his mouth.
The issue Sir Jimmy, is that people celebrated you for getting better as a rapper. Nas didn't need any such celebration.
Absolutely not.
From the time he appeared on the scene, he was a top-tier lyricist. And when you are as good at that shit as he is, you spark inspiration in all the other rappers that have yet to drop one single. They hear you, they hear your style, they see your flow, and they go, damn. That's the measure with which I'm trying to get to in order to be considered dope. That has never been you. You have never been spoke of in that. And it's very telling that in that clip where the young bull was talking this nonsense, the very first accolade they gave you was not rap. It was fashion. How people wore their clothes and brands. And listen, there is something to be said about cultural impact when you speak about the swag of an artist.
Yeah.
But if there was a list of the things that mattered in that regard, that'd be down some.
Yeah.
Because Pharoahe Monch will come out there with his hair not combed.
Mm-hmm.
Still got lint in his beard.
Mm-hmm.
Got on some frumpy clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Get in front of that mic.
Facts.
And all of a sudden, he looks like he has on an expensive outfit, a fresh shape up, and a freshly oiled and greased beard.
Right. It's a difference.
It's a difference. It's a difference. And the very fact, and this is where the disrespect is probably going to come in. Because what people know about me, and trust me, not as many people know me as know you, but what people know about me is I care about facts.
Right.
Like a lot. A lot. The moment you delve into that whole environment of sales, billboards, these all have numerical value, sir. And before I even checked, I knew it was cap.
Oh, nigga.
You can't then look. I respect the whole thing about, because rappers have that. You're supposed to have that braggadocio. Many times, me and Graydon have been interviewed by some interviewer, podcast, or whatever, and they always go into the top 5 lists.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 people I start off with is me and Graydon.
Thanks.
And then I start talking about Adequate, and I start talking about SPJ, and I start talking about that's rapper hubris that you're supposed to have.
That part.
You are supposed to put over you and your clique.
Thanks.
Period. But come on, bro. These things are.
Yo, here's my problem with it, right? Here's why it's fuck him. Because nobody asked you that part.
Nobody
asked you that part. That part was not a part of the conversation.
You
threw that shit in there willingly.
Yeah.
With clearly no understanding of what the truth was. Like
it's the Trumpanization of media, because you know how Trump will just say some shit,
mm-hmm.
and he'll say it often when it's completely false.
Yeah.
Right? And he knows there's a bunch of people that ain't gonna check, but they like him. He said it, so there it is. I see Jim doing the same thing. He just casually threw out there billboards and record sales, and as if no one could check because you didn't expect anybody to check. Listen, one thing I know for certain, you knew you was lying.
Yeah.
You've been in the game too long. You're not going to tell me that you haven't checked every time you drop something what position your shit was in. Because if it was something that was a truly high position, you would have crowed about that shit. Right. You would have never stopped talking about it, and you shouldn't. You knew you were lying. That's where the disrespect comes in. You knew you were lying, and you were trying to discredit Nas. Look, if you want to discredit PM Dawn, have at it, Hoss.
Sure.
If you want to discredit any number of these whack-ass, trash-ass, no impact having ass niggas who managed to get in because they're either an industry plant or it was some funny shit going with their career somehow. Have at it, Hoss. Right. To try that with Nas in front of Jada Kiss is wild. It's wild, B. And I get you don't see Jada.
Kiss was like, I'm not going to argue with this nigga.
Yeah, that's the other thing, right? Well, my thing is, I know you probably don't see Jada the way we see Jada.
You sure that he kicked your ass on that Versus stage?
You would think, right? At that point, you should be like, oh, shit, Jada's here. Right. Like, that should be how you are.
You should still be having nightmares about that shit.
Exactly. As a matter of fact, you should have had to fill out some shit before you even came in. Like, but the reality is, you know the man. Y'all know each other. Y'all been in the same circles, you know. So yeah, all right, cool. So it's much the same as my wife, especially at the peak of my rap career. My wife ain't seen me the same way my fan base saw me. You know what I'm saying? My kids didn't see me that way until they got to see me perform in front of a crowd. That was it, right? But after it, still dad, right? That's still dad. You know what I'm saying? And he's ass, right? Like that's how they think. So, all right, but you should know what the perception is because you spend so much time cultivating and curating who you are, what you look like, how you come across. You ain't think for 1 second that didn't look wild as fuck for you to be sitting in front of Jada Aloysius Kiss. Jada Kiss, and say that you're more impactful, have more relevancy, and sold more and had than Nas. Do you realize how Jada probably see? Of course you do. You know how Jada sees Nas.
Right.
Every rapper that prides himself on his pen sees Nas a certain type of way. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So and that in itself also shows why you're not in that league.
That part.
Right? Because the fact that you could try that, to have those words coming out of your mouth, I wouldn't have cared if you'd have said, man, fuck Nas up on the beat.
Sure. Cool. Right.
That's the posture you're supposed to have as an MC. Nobody would have been mad at you at that. But you're talking about legacy here, my friend.
Yeah.
Legacy. And you don't have to try to step on his to elevate yours.
Absolutely
to each man, his own. Because you're going to be judged by what the fuck you did in this game. That's it. And going off of these, it's not a good look for you to compare yours to his. So it's not a good look.
To wrap this analysis up, the central testable hypothesis of Jim Jones' argument that he possesses a record of Billboard success superior to or competitive with Nas is factually incorrect by an overwhelming margin across every significant commercial metric. Nas's career achievements dwarf those of Jones. Singles, Nas has over 13 times more entries on the Billboard Hot 100. Albums, Nas has nearly 4 times as many charted albums on the Billboard 200, 5 times as many top 10 albums, and 6 #1 albums to Jones' 0. Sales, Nas's catalog contains numerous multi-platinum and platinum-selling albums, reflecting a deep and sustained investment from a loyal fan base. Jones's primary RIAA certifications are for a handful. GA, what up, my guy?
What up, GA?
You came in at the end of the rap conversation.
I know.
with no evidence of a solo album achieving gold or platinum status. The claim is not a matter of interpretation. It is a matter of record. The numbers do not support the argument. GA, you might want to go back like 15 minutes.
Yeah. And my issue is you knew it.
There's no way.
You knew it. You knew you were lying. You knew you were lying.
Your issue is he knew. My issue is there was no reason for him to bring it up. There was no reason for you to say this dumb shit.
But see, that's the thing.
None whatsoever.
Exactly. There was no reason for you to say it. You just decided to lie.
You just decided to lie.
You decided to lie.
Like, what are we talking about? Like, nigga, you could have just went on. You could have talked about your swag. You could have talked about your cultural visual influence.
Yes.
You could have talked about your influence on slang. Yes. You could have talked about all this shit. You could have even you could have even gotten away with the word hit records. You could have got away with that.
Yep.
But once you start talking about Billboard numbers and certifications,
you're not even the same type of artist that he is.
You're not in the same
I think
lane.
that's
I can't underscore this. Magnitudes. Nas is magnitudes more successful commercially than Jim Jones is. This is not a debate.
Yeah. I would say artistically too. I'm sorry.
No shit. Listen, I didn't even say that because I figured it was not necessary to mention.
Right.
Like, that one.
You're talking
the commercial was a little more surprising. Like a little more surprising.
Yeah.
But I still knew as soon as it came out of his mouth that it was wrong.
Do you know the reason why that may catch some people off guard? Because you got to remember that for a good chunk of a certain era of hip hop, the Jay-Z Nas conversation was in place. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the comparison was with Nas and Jay-Z sales. Right? Sales. Jay got these. All right. But you can't juxtapose Jay's argument onto your own, sir. It's not the same. You're not.
I can't stress this enough. Nas is magnitudes more commercially successful than Jim Jones. It is not close by any stretch of the imagination. There is no current language that you can use from the English language or probably any other language that exists on earth to try to put them in the same category commercially. We're talking about commercial.
Yo, even culturally, I'm gonna say as far as cultural impact, to me, you can also measure it by how people view the artist. I have seen Nas perform like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I have a lot of my friends, many of them are rappers, but a few of them are not, who see Nas as, even to this day, this is their pinnacle. This is their GOAT. This is their... When they talk about GOATs, Nas's name is in the conversation. When they talk about GOATs, Jimmy, yours isn't.
Yeah.
No one says that. No one says that.
Here's my thing about culturally. It's an opinion, but I lay on the opinion side of, because it's 2 sides of it, right?
Right.
When you talk about influence, who the fuck are you influencing, right?
That's true.
So for me, it's more important that you influence other people who are going to influence other people influence other people.
Right.
Then you influence the normal rank and file consumer.
Right.
So yes, if we're talking about the normal rank and file consumer, Jimmy might have that. Mm-hmm. He might have that edge over Nas.
I don't think he does. If he's
I don't know that he does.
When we say consumer, that means consumption. That means purchases.
I'm talking about. So I'm talking. What I mean by that, right, is with Jimmy doing what he does best, which is the aesthetics and the swag and the slang. That don't translate to sales. Like we don't have the metrics for that. We just can see motherfuckers doing it.
Right.
With the Nas thing, with his influence, all these niggas that like Nas don't want to be rappers. Right. So we're not going to see that in the everyday rank and file.
And they don't like him for the same reason the other people like Jimmy. And
yes,
I would.
That's more impressive to me.
there are less people that like you, Jimmy,
right,
than like Nas. I'm just putting. There are less people that like you.
Yeah.
Now, are there more people that like you now than when you first came out there with the Dipset? Sure. You have
absolutely.
done a masterful job in elevating your awareness, brand awareness, and all that other shit. But, bro, honestly, yours is like a mom and pop shop.
That part.
And Nas is like a multinational corporation. Like
Right.
this is the scale that we're talking about here. Like again, presentation still. Look how Nas carries and conducts himself in public.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, I said, listen, bro, do you? Some stuff I've seen you do, I respect it. Like on some street shit. Like, oh yeah, you were supposed to come at him like that because this motherfucker was. Like some of that shit I respect it, but yo, for that to be, that's literally the only way we see you.
Yo, I'll give the perfect example. For Cameron to be on national, we might as well say national TV.
Yeah, because it's the replacement.
Yeah. For Cameron to be on national TV in a suit, talking about how you're old and you should not be out here doing the things that you're doing. And for your response to be you pulling up on some blood set on your phone, talking about how you still with the...
Yo, I just...
That's not... like...
It's not... That is... Hold up, bro. Hold up. When we start talking pantheon of rap... pantheons. When we think of pantheons, we quite rightfully think of the gods, right? You don't expect one of the gods to be seeking validation.
Not in that way.
This way. This is not it, bro.
Yo,
this is
and
not
then on top of all that, I'm not even that big a fan of Cam. And as far as I'm concerned, you Cam little nigga.
Yo, yeah. And yo, you know what? Out of everything you said, out of the exposing of the clear difference in numbers, out of talking about how he's still doing YN shit at almost 50 years old, you saying that he's Cam's little nigga cuts him to the quick and deeper than anything else you've ever said.
Facts.
And we've witnessed this numerous times over the years, but specifically recently, where he bristles at the idea that he's somebody's little nigga. I'm going to keep it 100 with you because a nigga like me, my ego don't go into that realm. My brother Marlon, I was his little nigga. My brother Herbie, his brother Boo, I was their little nigga. That shit don't hurt me to say, don't bruise my ego to say, because it was real.
Thanks. Like, you conflating street and hip hop because they have a connection.
Yeah.
But you're completely conflating the two.
Yeah.
In the street, I don't know what the fuck is which one of y'all is responsible for.
That
ain't my business. I shouldn't know which specific thing, which one of y'all I shouldn't know that. That ain't my business. But as far as the industry is concerned, you're absolutely Cam's little nigga.
Yeah, nigga.
There's no question about that. So it's just the whole thing.
Lil Jones, what we're saying is
Lil Jimmy.
Lil Jimmy. What we basically saying is you out of pocket. And as far as I'm concerned, you learned a lot from Nas. You even admitted it as much. He was an idol of yours. You admitted that as much. So to paraphrase Thanos, when he was talking to Gamora, like, rapping, Nas, you was inspired by him. Trying to be the best there is at what you do perception-wise, Nas. But Nas didn't teach you to lie. That's why you're so bad at it.
Facts.
That is all lies.
Yeah.
And come on, bro. Don't do that. Who you think you... And that's you taking advantage.
Yo, Jim said, Jimmy response, little nigga, blood gang capo. a cavalcade of extra dumb shit. Facts. All facts. Like, what are we talking about here?
Like, this is not.
Are you dumb?
Yo, listen. Look, I'm gonna tell you. I'm just gonna tell you, as an ON, as an unk, because I got you by at least 8 years or so, nigga. This ain't it. Don't be getting on nobody's program lying about Nas. Like, yo, don't be getting on nobody's podcast lying about Nas, B.
That part.
And stop taking advantage of these young niggas in this way. Because that is what this was, right? A lot of them don't know. Don't show. I don't care about. Anyway, listen, a lot of them don't know no better, yo. They don't. They wasn't there for none of that shit. And they're going off of their very limited exposure to a culture that spans well over 50 years, right? So they don't really have all of that unless they have. You will find some young boys that do get it because they became geeks about this shit. So they went back to listen to the old shit to get as much information as they could about the entire genre of hip hop because it fascinated them. But there's many more of them that won't and don't, right? And you going up there after the young bull clearly don't know no better. He's saying he's just talking because he got lips. And your ass sitting up here basically feeding into that. Come on, bro. This ain't it. This ain't it. I've listened to Nas since Illmatic. I followed Nas's career. I've watched Nas perform live at least 4 times. You, Jimmy, are no Nas.
It's a damn shame.
It is.
Like,
it is.
At the end of the day, what are we talking about here? And why are you allowing this? Why is anybody allowing this?
Why is anybody allowing this?
Like, matter of fact, this puts us into our next part. Shame on you, Fat Joe. Not just for this.
Oh, no.
But also, the Don and the disgruntled. The allegations against Fat Joe. So, Joseph Cartagena, a.k.a. Fat Joe, has long occupied a unique space in the cultural lexicon, embodying 2 seemingly contradictory personas with remarkable ease. On one hand, he's a beloved hip-hop icon, a 3-decade veteran whose gruff voice and charismatic storytelling transformed him from a Bronx street legend into a Grammy-nominated chart-topping artist, entrepreneur, and respected, I gotta put that in quotes, elder statesman of the genre. On the other, as of June 19, 2025, he is the central figure in a sprawling 157-page federal lawsuit that paints him as the manipulative kingpin of a criminal enterprise engaged in sex trafficking, violent intimidation, and systemic fraud. The report dissects the explosive civil suit filed by Terrence T.A. Dixon, a man who for over 15 years served as Fat Joe's hype man and creative collaborator. The allegations contained within the lawsuit strike at the very foundation of Cartagena's meticulously crafted public image, a legacy built on authenticity, street credibility, and a late career pivot to benevolent family man now faces claims that, if substantiated, would not merely tarnish it, but utterly shatter it. The conflict is stark. The public figure who champions community and family is accused of privately orchestrating a world of predation and abuse.
Right.
To understand the gravity of this moment, we'll proceed in 4 parts. First, we'll establish the context of Fat Joe's career and public persona, tracing his evolution from Fat Joe the gangster to a multifaceted media personality. Second, it will provide a granular fact-based anatomy of the lawsuit itself, categorizing the severe allegations made by Dixon. Third, we'll examine the aggressive legal war that has erupted, analyzing the dueling strategies of the high-profile legal teams and the preemptive strike that defines the defense's narrative. Finally, we'll place the entire affair into the broader cultural context of a post-Me Too, post-Diddy entertainment industry, assessing the media's framing of the case and the potential consequences charges for a legacy now hanging precariously in the balance. Here's the thing. Because of Fat Joe and the things that I've been privy to recently and all this other type stuff, I'm not about to give him flowers right now.
No.
So I'm going to skip the first one.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead.
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and skip part 1. Part 2, the indictment.
Plus, not only that, just real quick. Over the years, I've given Fat Joe enough of his flowers, but I never had to say anything good about him again.
Sure.
Just his association with pun.
Oh, crap.
Keep talking. And all of that. Like, no. So now that this is a thing, especially if it's proven this is a thing, nah. Nah. We're going to be on some other shit. And who I do feel bad for is Jada. Because they just started this podcast and it could have been a contender.
That's funny.
You know?
That part. All right. So on June 19th, 2025, carefully curated world of Joseph Cartagena was rocked by the filing of a 157-page civil lawsuit in the Southern District of New York. The complaint, which begins with a bold-faced trigger warning due to its graphic content, lays out a devastating series of allegations that span nearly 2 decades. The suit was brought by Terrence T.A. Dixon, a figure who the complaint takes pains to define not merely as a hype man, but as an integral component of Cartagena's success from 2005 to 2020, serving as a lyricist, background vocalist, security team member, and creative collaborator. Let's stop right there. That's not unheard of, right? Oftentimes, the people who are hype men for these bigger artists are, in some way or form, integral in the operation of that artist. Like, it's generally a thing. Like, this framing is a deliberate legal strategy.
Hey, McKenna.
Hey, what's going on? This framing is a deliberate legal strategy to establish Dixon as a credible insider with intimate firsthand knowledge of the alleged criminal enterprise. The allegations can be broken down into these primary categories. Category 1, sexual exploitation and trafficking of minors. The most damning claims in the lawsuit revolve around the alleged sexual abuse and exploitation of underage girls. Dixon claims that he personally witnessed Cartagena engage in sexual relationships with multiple minors, specifically girls who were 15 and 16 years old at the time. The lawsuit identifies 3 Jane Does and provides disturbing details for each alleged victim.
Oh, that's crazy.
Minor 1, described as 16-year-old Dominican girl. The lawsuit alleges she would perform oral sex or other sexual acts on Cartagena in exchange for material goods, including cash, clothing, and the payment of her cell phone bill. Minor 2, identified as a 15-year-old Caucasian girl whom Cartagena allegedly met at a concert overseas. The complaint claims Cartagena flew her to New York and Miami on multiple occasions, and finding her body to be, quote, adolescent and not fully formed,
I read about that.
He paid for a BBL. The lawsuit further asserts that this individual is now married to a professional athlete. Minor number 3, characterized as a Latina girl who began an alleged relationship with Cartagena when she was 15. The suit claims Cartagena was, quote, in love with her, paid all of her bills, housed her in a Florida condominium just blocks from his marital home, and took her on his international tours. The complaint alleges he even contemplated leaving his wife for her. To substantiate this claim, the suit references an alleged recorded conversation in which Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described the relationship with the then late 30s rapper as, quote, inappropriate. Category 2, allegations of coercion and abuse against Dixon. Beyond his role as an alleged witness, Dixon claims he was a direct victim of Cartagena's sexual coercion and abuse. The lawsuit's most startling allegation is that Dixon was forced to participate in more than 4,000 sexual acts over a 16-year period to maintain his standing with the enterprise. The complaint details the alleged methods of control, asserting that Dixon never willingly consented but complied out of fear. Cartagena allegedly used a combination of threats, including financial ruin, professional sabotage, physical harm, and abandonment in foreign countries to ensure Dixon's submission. The suit describes a pervasive culture of dominance and humiliation where Cartagena would allegedly orchestrate these encounters, which sometimes involved orgies with female dancers and minors. It is claimed that Cartagena would often remain in the room to watch, film, and provide explicit direction and commands, reinforcing a dynamic of complete psychological control. Category 3. Allegations of financial and creative exploitation. The third pillar of the lawsuit concerns claims of systemic financial and creative fraud. Dixon alleges that his role as a ghostwriter and creative force was foundational to Cartagena's success, claiming to have contributed lyrics, melodies, and concepts for numerous songs, including Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Bitches. Despite these alleged contributions, the suit claims he was consistently and deliberately denied proper songwriting credits and fair compensation. The complaint further accuses Cartagena and his key associates, Pistol Pete Torres, and Richard Rich Player Jospiter, of concealing royalties and back-end payments from Dixon and engaging in deliberate tax fraud schemes to hide his alleged wage theft. Broadening the scope of alleged complicity, the lawsuit also names Jay-Z's entertainment company, Roc Nation, as a defendant. Roc Nation represents Cartagena, and the suit alleges that the company either knew or should have known about the financial exploitation and actively participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalty interests. To provide a clear overview, blah, 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 blah. So, here's the thing. Based on the little that I know about legal proceedings, this could be really bad. This could lead to federal suits because you're talking about human trafficking. You're basically talking about the Diddy thing. Yeah. So they can do a RICO for this as well, given what is in this lawsuit, if it has any factual merit to it. Right. And you're also talking about tax fraud. Those two things could absolutely, easily be picked up by the feds based on this civil suit. Yeah. Now, I ain't nobody to know or say whether this nigga guilty or not. Mm-hmm. This is damning, though.
It's extremely damning. And let's stipulate, like you said before, we don't know if he did this or not.
Absolutely not.
We don't know that. But if he did. Now, let me start with if he didn't. If he didn't do this, it's alarming how far people will go to damage your reputation when they didn't get their money. But they feel like they was aggrieved with financial stuff. They will go heavy on you with this sort of thing. If you did do this, I'm not even going to speak to Joe. If Joe did do this, I do have a few questions. Like, why is this particular profile being mimicked with various entertainers? It wasn't enough for dude to be your backup, your hype man, writer, all some stuff. He also had to participate in the sexcapades.
Right.
Like, I'm trying to figure that out, why this particular archetype is a thing.
Yeah.
Because I gotta be real with you. This is like some of the sickest shit that we've heard and seen, and we keep seeing it.
Keep seeing it. I don't think it's for you to understand.
Probably not. I really.
It's baffling.
Life is exceedingly short.
Right.
Exceedingly short, right? You will go to bed one night and wake, if you're 15, and wake up 30. That's how this shit flies by, right? And then, in the course of that time, the vast majority of us have to struggle with scarcity. We never have enough money to do all the things we would like to do, never have enough resources, never have enough access.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of other places we'd rather be other than it's under somebody's clock at some goddamn job somewhere. And we look at celebrities, be they musicians or actors, as almost a voyeurism, escapist, because we imagine their lives to be what we would want ours to be able to pick up anytime you want and be on a boat somewhere or be on an island somewhere or what have you. Because whatever thing you were good at managed to generate enough money for you where you're good on that end and you don't have to do the shit that we have to do most of the time just to get by. So when I see people who have that and squander it on this perversion, this shit really bothers me, man, because y'all can say money don't buy happiness, but they can put a down payment on it.
Fix.
And that shit, doing that when you have so much, risking everything you built and your name for a nut, it's just hard for me to really. It's hard for me to really like understand or relate to any of that, and it just leads me to the idea that I've had for a while that humans aren't good with abundance. They aren't.
Yeah.
We are our evolutionary path.
Power and money.
Yes, our evolutionary path was built on scarcity, us having to do things to get things, and not having access to everything and resources for everything at our fingertips. And it's driving some of you motherfuckers who have it crazy. Y'all are doing supervillain shit that we see in comic books. Y'all doing that shit. Actually, some of the shit is worse. Lex Luthor has never sexually assaulted anybody.
Right.
And he's a supervillain.
Megalomaniac.
Dr. Doom has never sexually assaulted anybody.
And Doom would probably kill you if he found out you did.
What? The shit y'all do. See what they do for food? The shit y'all be doing after you get this money is crazy. And I know for a fact that if this conversation had came up before Joe got rich, before Joe got popular, before he was known, when he was just Fat Joey around the block, you would have been amongst the mob of people condemning that shit. In fact, a lot of y'all would. A lot of these people that we catching in some of this shit, goddamn well, they'd have been condemning shit like this before they got all of that.
I do wonder, though.
Uh-oh.
I don't know for sure. What was Fat Joe's response to the Diddy stuff?
Well, hold up now. I vaguely seem to recall a bit of hesitation to condemn. Now, we can't say that is a surefire sign that he's thinking of himself.
Right.
Because in truth, if you want to go off of just jurisprudence, like, look, guilty, innocent before proven guilty.
Yeah.
You don't want to put somebody out there. So there are people that literally, they think that first, even if they think the person's guilty, they don't want to come out and say anything because they don't have no proof of it. But now that this has come out, if he did hesitate to condemn, you can't convince me that this isn't the reason, because these things were floating around in that rather large size closet of his. But the thing with Joey is, one of the things before a lot of stuff came out a lot of us look at George as stand-up dudes. That's stand-up dude. Show it. Stand-up dude. Like he sat down. If he did this, he sat down.
Facts.
Like
facts.
That
everybody ain't Atlas, nigga.
Yeah.
Everybody ain't Atlas. Actually, most people ain't Atlas.
Most people ain't Atlas. Listen, I don't understand the debauchery. Like, I don't get it. Like,
it's interesting you say that. So that's up in the air. We don't know,
we don't know what we don't know.
It hasn't happened. The trial hasn't happened. So we don't know what's going to go on with that. Potential ramifications, obviously, most concerned and I am is the Joe and Jada podcast because I'm not watching that shit because I don't like Fat Joe. But I love my man Jada having something where he out in the public and getting his name back up and all that. I love that aspect of it. Yeah. So that's a whole thing. Kiss being Kiss, I wouldn't be surprised either way. I wouldn't be surprised if before there's a verdict, they stop.
Right.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if before there's a verdict, they keep going.
Oh yeah,
and just don't acknowledge it on air. So because Kiss seems to be a loyal dude. So you're like, all right, well,
I mean, literally the Locks are known as the loyalist hip hop group.
They are the example of a hip hop group.
Right?
Yeah. So like in the event, like I wouldn't be surprised if he's like, yo, this shit nasty work. By the way. It's a great title. Nasty work.
It is.
Because Nas, it's Nasty Nas.
Nasty Nas. You know what I'm saying?
Like Joe, he got this nasty ass lawsuit.
And then Jim with the nasty exaggeration.
And then Tyler Perry with this nasty ass lawsuit.
Yo, listen.
The house that Perry built. Accusation and the Empire. Introduction. A Titan under fire. Tyler Perry stands as a singular figure in modern entertainment. He is a self-made billionaire. All billionaires are bad. Let me address that real quick before I continue this. All billionaires are bad. All billionaires are bastards. All billionaires are bitches. Whatever you want to. Because here's the thing. What does that statement mean when it comes from my mouth? Because I'm not going to put words in other people's mouths.
Yes.
What does that statement mean coming out of my mouth? It means that statistically, in order for you to amass that amount of wealth, you had to have done something, whether in your knowledge or outside of your view, to exploit other human beings. Labor. It had to exist. There is no way to amass that amount of money, especially in the short amount of years that you have amassed it for most people,
right?
Than to do that thing, right?
Right.
But that doesn't mean that once you reach billionaire status, I instantly turn on you.
Facts.
What that means is once you reach billionaire status, my eyes are open a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Because what other things, right? Right? Say if there's a billionaire, there's a nasty B word for him. SPJ. Facts. So it's like once you attain billionaire status, for me personally, it's like if I hear something about you, you get less of a BOD from me. Because you don't need my defense.
True.
You got $1 billion. You don't need my who the fuck am I?
Defend yourself, nigga.
Defend yourself. You now have the burden of proof. Also, in general, the person that makes the claim has the burden of proof. Nah, nigga.
No, you do.
You a billionaire? You got the burden of proof. Because you need a reason to allow us to let you stay in this lavish lifestyle that you somehow exploited people to get to.
Again, I love how you said whether knowingly or unknowingly.
We don't know if you know. We don't know if you know.
Right.
It's possible. Right? It's absolutely possible. But
also, I'm looking for what are you doing with that $1 billion?
That part.
Because if knowingly or unknowingly someone was exploited in order for you to get that and to maintain that, I then need to see what's your output.
Yeah.
And what are you doing with it?
How much of your purported output is a show?
Yeah. Facts. Well,
because here's the thing. Well, nigga, because the thing is with Tyler, one of the biggest things that he will get, even from people that do not like his movies, me being one of them, one of the biggest things that he will get is that he is employing black people. Yeah. He is employing a bunch of black people, and they're in situations where they may not have been employed otherwise.
Right.
Absolutely, that's 1,000% a fact.
Right.
Bad people aren't caricatures. They're still human beings. You can still do a good thing. You can still do many good things and still be a bad person. It's just not how that works. It's not a black and white thing like that. So, but when you see him, this being the praise of him, and then I see a week or two before this comes out, somebody having an argument about Tyler Perry pays actors better than everybody else, but the argument is no, he actually doesn't. From somebody in the industry saying no, he doesn't actually pay actors better than other people. What he does is he pays them well above said rates, but for a much shorter amount of time. Whereas a normal project may have taken a year, he might do that project in a month. And yeah, the rates are higher, but if you would have had a rate, if you would have had the base rate, that person would have ended up making more money over the length of the project.
Absolutely.
That is important context.
Keep going. I can hear you. Keep going.
That is extremely important context. That means that on the whole, he's not paying these people more money. And it's because y'all don't understand fucking percentages. I will keep going back to this. It happens that the majority of these big sprawling concepts that people believe they're on the right side of, the majority of these things is about the fact that y'all don't understand big numbers and y'all don't understand fucking percentages. That is not how percentages work. The rate is a percentage. If you're supposed to get $1 per day, we're just going to make it simple as possible for math purposes. If you're supposed to get $1 a day, and you are doing something that is going to take you an entire year to do, versus if somebody's paying you 20 times that rate, but it only takes you a week to do, that's $140 versus $365. You're not being paid more. You're getting more upfront. Ryan said, but what if they're making more time by making more film than other industries? Just picking on that. So that's what I assume you're asking is, like, for instance, if that actor is getting a higher rate for that shorter time period, but because the period is shorter, they can go do another thing. I'm assuming that's what you're asking. If you know how to, so I want to be clear on my stance on this. This isn't me saying that what people are saying is a great thing that he's doing. I'm not encountering that and saying, no, it's actually a bad thing. That's not my point. What I'm saying is it's not the great thing that it is purported to be, is the point that I'm making. It is not as great as it seems on its face, if that is indeed the case. Again, that person works in the industry that brought up that point. So if they're right, and it is true, we do know that he films things in a much shorter time period. Like, that's a fact. That part is 100% a fact. We know that he films things in a shorter time period than traditional means of filming things. It's one of the reasons his quality is so terrible. That's a whole different. That's a whole different conversation.
Get out of my head. Because the moment
that's
you
a
said
whole
that,
different conversation. I'm not even going to jump into that because that's not what this is about. It's not what this is about. Things take time. They take time for a reason. Generally, you generally don't make things better by decreasing the amount of time it takes to make the thing. You make things better by getting better people to do them, and that will in turn decrease the amount of time that it takes to make a thing.
I dare you to undercook your fish.
Nigga, that part. Like, that's not how this works. Like, prime example, I'm glad you brought the cooking thing into it. Prime example is a steak, right? If I said, all right, a steak takes 15 minutes to cook. I'm just throwing out numbers. Numbers. If I say, all right, a steak takes 15 minutes to cook, I bet you I can get you that steak in 5 minutes. Right? And technically, by a lot of metrics, I could possibly cook that steak in 5 minutes and it could be technically well done.
Yeah.
His movies aren't. But that's not the point. It's not the point. It could be technically well done. But you're going to get a different experience from that 5-minute steak and from that 15-minute steak.
Right.
It's just that simple. Brian clarifies, like if T-Pain makes more films than another industry who takes longer to make films, would the higher rate be valid? Overcook your salmon one time. So yes, listen, here's the thing.
First of all, Ron, we not overcooking no salmon over here.
No, that's not allowable.
No. Like, oh my God.
That's funny. So again, I'm not invalidating his higher rates. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is it is not the blanket thing that it comes off across as. That's what I'm saying. Right. Again, I am not saying it is a bad thing. I am not saying that it's not a good thing. I'm saying it's not as good of a thing.
About that is a little warped.
It's skewed. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like I said, if it takes you a year to do something that you get paid $1 a day for, and somebody else is willing to pay you 5 times as much, but it's only going to take a week, you're not making more money.
Right.
Now, could you go do another thing? Yes. But then again, could that potentially lead to more fatigue? Who knows? That's not like for some people it will, for some people it won't. Right?
Right.
So that's just what I'm saying. Like, keep these things in fucking context. And people hate context because they're like, oh, I just like things to be one thing or the other thing. No, nigga, context and nuance fucking matters.
They want that. Yo, one thing I have noticed is that people do like to keep shit simple, to their detriment at times, because sometimes having that extra bit of context can save you money, save your health, and keep your ass out of jail. You know what I'm saying? So people like simple shit.
People like simple shit, and that's cool. Like, but if you want to have any in-depth conversation about stuff like this, you have to actually have the conversation. So let's say Tyler himself did a movie that took 3 weeks. I don't know what his schedule is like. I don't know if it's the fact that, I don't know if it's the case that he might do a movie in 3 weeks and then 3 weeks later he might do another movie. I don't know if that's the case.
Right.
And if you don't have a bunch of people doing this style, you would have to. Here's the other thing about that. Here's how you can fold in being exploitative into that system, right? So if he does have a movie and that movie takes 3 weeks to do, in order to keep up that type of thing, you are now stuck to him because nobody else is doing movies that way. So you could do that 3-week movie and then your schedule is now free. You have 3 choices. You can either take a break.
Right.
You can go do another movie with somewhere else, which you're not going to have that quick turnaround. Or you can wait for Tyler to do another movie. That's where the exploitation potentially comes in. Because now you're almost fully dependent on him. Specifically him.
Also, you fucking up your filmography. Because he's going to be a bunch of shitty movies. And your name going to be attached to it.
Here's the thing. Like I said, if I can make $15 million by filming for 1 year.
No, that's facts. That's facts.
But he's giving me $2 million for 3 weeks. And then it might take 3-4 months for the next movie. And there's $2 million for 3 weeks. That's not really it's not really. It's not a whole. It's not. So the point of all that is, it goes into how you could be potentially. He might not even be thinking about it like that, but that is a way that you can unknowingly be exploiting people. It's just that it's that type of thing. So regardless, to the actual thing. So, his empire was built largely outside the confines of the traditional Hollywood system, a testament to his entrepreneurial acumen and his deep connection with the loyal audience, particularly within the Black community. Beyond his commercial success, he's cultivated a powerful public image as a philanthropist, known for his extraordinary generosity and support for civil rights causes, the homeless, and individuals in crisis. It is this towering reputation that makes the allegations levied against him not just a legal matter, but a cultural earthquake. The man at the center of the allegations is Derek Dixon, an actor and playwright from North Carolina. Dixon is not a peripheral figure in Perry's world. He was a series regular on the BET drama The Oval, created, written, and directed by Perry. Dixon appeared in 85 episodes as the character Dale and also had a role in the spin-off series Ruthless. His position as a recurring actor who worked within the Tyler Perry Studios ecosystem for several years places him in a position of sustained professional contact with Perry. And that thing I was saying kind of rolls into this whole situation about people being dependent upon him. So, critical detail that shapes the narrative of his claims. The length and nature of his employment distinguish these allegations from those arising from a brief or singular encounter, suggesting a relationship that unfolded over a significant period. The prolonged interaction makes a defense narrative of a simple scam more than a complex to argue, as it would imply a multi-year calculated deception on the part of the plaintiff. On June 13th, 2025, Dixon filed a civil complaint in Los Angeles Superior Court that sent shockwaves through the industry. The lawsuit names Tyler Perry personally, his production companies, and significantly 50 unnamed defendants referred to as DOEs. The suit seeks a staggering sum of at least $260 million in damages for a litany of alleged abuses. The inclusion of these 50 unnamed defendants is a common but potent legal strategy. It signals that the plaintiff's legal team believes other individuals within Perry's corporate structure may have enabled, participated in, or failed to prevent the alleged misconduct. Again, another thing that can open him up for a federal RICO case. This maneuver preserves the right to add more individuals to the lawsuit as more information is uncovered during the legal discovery process. It broadens the scope of the case beyond Perry's alleged individual actions, raising questions about the institutional culture and accountability mechanisms, or lack thereof, at one of Hollywood's most powerful and insular studios. The core allegations. At its heart, the lawsuit alleges that Perry leveraged his immense power and considerable influence in the entertainment industry to create a coercive, sexually exploitative dynamic with Dixon. According to the complaint, Perry would initially promise career advancement and creative opportunities, only to then subject Dixon to escalating sexual harassment, assault and battery, and professional retaliation when his advances were not reciprocated. The central claim frames the narrative not as a series of isolated incidents, but as a systemic abuse of power where professional survival was allegedly contingent on navigating the unwanted sexual demands of the industry's most powerful gatekeeper. A chronology of alleged events. September 29th, Dixon meets Perry at studio opening party. November 2019, Perry offers Dixon a small role. January 2020, first alleged sexual assault. February 2020, Perry offers Dixon a series regular role. Late 2020, alleged groping in trailer after filming shooting scene. October 2020, alleged groping incident. December 2020, Dixon diagnosed with severe stress/PTSD. June 2021, second major alleged sexual assault. Post-June 2021, Perry buys rights to Dixon's pilot, losing it. January 2023, Dixon moves to create distance from Perry. 2024, Dixon files complaint with EEOC. 2024, Dixon quits the Oval. June 13th, 2025, Dixon files the lawsuit.
Again, I say, why?
I mean,
bro, like, you do realize. Look, all right, so let me just say this. When you are very well known, literally you can't go anywhere without somebody recognizing who the fuck you are.
Sure.
I can certainly see how that would make moving in silence very difficult, right? My thing is, though, regardless of what his sexual orientation is, because that's really not the point, right? Regardless of what his sexual orientation is, you mean tell me you couldn't find somebody
not a single person, right?
You know what I'm saying? That all on board, consent ready to be involved with you. Like, this is 2025. This ain't 1925. Right? To be honest, that you just come out, nobody cares.
Yeah.
Nobody, especially your audience, don't give a fuck about that shit. That doesn't discredit you in any way. None of that.
One of your contemporaries is Lee Daniels.
Bruh. Bruh.
He's absolutely a gay man. Like, I don't.
And this is why, to me, man, it's predatorial shit. There's something wrong with you. You always been that. You had to be. Because why? Why? You're fucking Tyler Perry. Fucking Tyler Perry. You'd have to go 5,000 miles to find one person that didn't know your fucking name. So stop.
Absolutely. So the 10 causes of action. Lawsuit claims can be broken down into several key legal categories. Quid pro quo sexual harassment. The Latin term meaning this for that forms a cornerstone of the complaint. The lawsuit alleges that Perry explicitly or implicitly linked tangible career benefits to sexual compliance. This is evidenced by the claim that Dixon was offered a series regular role on the Oval just 1 month after the first alleged assault, and by the repeated dangling of the dangling is wild.
Dangling is wild.
Yo, GA said, Tyler, I like you and I want you. And by dangling, and by the repeated dangling of the production.
Yo, why are we still stop?
And by the repeated dangling of the production.
Oh, he did it again. Yo, what the fuck?
And by the repeated dangling of the production of his pilot, losing it as a reward for his continued engagement, sexual battery and sexual assault. In civil law, these claims refer to harmful or offensive non-consensual touching. They are distinct from criminal charges and have a lower burden of proof. The lawsuit applies these claims to the specific allegations of groping in Perry's home, in his trailer, and in the Bahamas, as well as the more aggressive alleged assault of in June 2021, where Perry allegedly attempted to force himself on Dixon. Workplace gender violence and retaliation.
Ryan, you caught that.
In Fair Employment and Housing, the Fair Employment and Housing Act is California's primary law against workplace discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. The lawsuit uses it to frame the alleged threats against Dixon's character, that Dale would die if Dixon didn't keep Perry happy, as a form of professional retaliation for resisting sexual advances. Dixon's claim that he was effectively forced to quit after his EEOC complaint was ignored also falls under this category of retaliation. Intentional infliction of emotional distress. This is a high bar to clear in court, requiring proof of outrageous conduct that goes beyond the bounds of decency and causes severe emotional harm. Dixon's legal team connects this claim directly to his documented medical consequences, including the diagnosis of PTSD and the need for medication and therapy. The Cover-Up Accountability Act. The invocation of this California law is particularly significant. The act is designed to help survivors of sexual assault by reviving claims that may have expired under the normal statute of limitations, especially in cases where there is evidence of a cover-up by the perpetrator or an organizer. By using this act, Dixon's lawyers signaled they may argue that Perry's actions, such as allegedly buying the rights to losing it to ensure silence, constituted a form of cover-up, thereby allowing older claims to be heard in court. The content of the messages. The reported text paint a complex picture of the communication between the two men. Key messages cited in the lawsuit include a direct and provocative question. What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Apparent encouragement mixed with sexual suggestion. I would hope that you would let someone hold you and make love to you. You are missing the best years of your life, my friend. Trust me. Trust me. I hope you get past that block in your mind soon. A blunt and aggressive declaration. No straight man.
Yo,
I'm just reading what I'm. Hey, listen. A blunt and aggressive declaration. No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to fuck you. I would fuck you. A warning about maintaining secrecy. Listen to me. If you let the cast know that you and I have a new friendship, then you are opening yourself up to a lot of questions and foolishness. You want them to know that you are there because of your talent and not because we have a friendship.
This is exploitive as fuck.
Nigga.
Yeah.
So, different interpretations. From the plaintiff's perspective, the texts are clear evidence of grooming, persistent sexual pressure, and the creation of a hostile work environment. They document Perry's unwanted sexual interests and the power imbalance that defined their interactions. The message about keeping their friendship secret is framed as an attempt to isolate Dixon and maintain control. From the defendant's perspective, as articulated by his supporters online, the text could be interpreted as awkward but consensual banter between friends, or as a mentor offering life advice to a younger man struggling with his sexuality and religion. This viewpoint dismisses the messages being taken out of context to build a false narrative for financial gain. Listen to me clearly. Right?
Some motherfuckers be reaching.
Listen to me clearly. I want to fully explain this, and I want this to be understood the moment it leaves my lips. From the defendant's perspective, the text could be interpreted as awkward but consensual banter between friends, or as a mentor offering life advice to a younger man struggling with sexuality and religion. Let me reread. No straight man would be going on walks with you or cooking dinner for you unless they wanted to fuck you. I would fuck you.
Yeah. Yo, come on, bro. Like, to reach that far is insane. And also, I get fandom. However, now I'm looking at you. Because I'm like, what you got in your inbox? What you saying to people? Because if that's what that just is to you, what is coming out of you? Like
listen.
Come on, bro.
I can buy the stretch of friendly banter. I cannot buy the stretch of mentor. Yeah. Your mentor should not be saying that to you under any circumstances. Yeah. That's not how that works. You know what they call a mentor who tells you that they would fuck you?
What's that?
A groomer. That's how that works. That's how that word works. It's somebody that you look up to and you have that type of relationship with, and they're introducing you to sexual. Okay, all right.
Huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, we're not doing that. So as far as
they're gonna keep shooting all these motherfuckers bail as much as possible.
Yeah. As far as I understand, this is strictly conjecture. I do not have this in an article or anything. As far as I understand, Tyler Perry's defense has not even, and I think this is why the court of public has gone as far as they have to try to defend him. As far as I understand, his defense has not denied that the texts are real. So, again, I can accept the stretch of friends. I can accept that because friends say some wild shit to each other, and friends be joking about shit. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, mentor? No, that's the G word. That's what that is.
Friends ain't gonna be telling each other they fucking me, but like that shit is kind of.
I mean, listen, people say some wild shit, but the reason I say I can accept that is because if we're saying that this is a friendship, and excluding the facts of the case, if we're saying this is a friendship, there's no power dynamic. That's the reason I say I'll accept the whole friendship thing.
That's true.
But mentor, there's a power dynamic there.
So you're writing this man checks.
That's hard.
At a certain point, like you're out of pocket. Listen, I don't know how he runs from this. I don't know how he runs from this because there is.
He's gonna settle.
Excluded, yeah. Exclude. I'm not talking to our current audience. So when I say you, I'm not referring to y'all. But y'all dumb as fuck. And it's what I have observed, especially over the last, I want to say 10, 11 years, maybe 15. Y'all, if y'all like a motherfucker, y'all believe what the motherfucker said. You will. Especially if you have, in your mind, enough examples of them not being the type of person that would do something like that.
Yeah.
Right? Y'all will believe what a motherfucker will say. Or if something about that person's character either mimics your own or something you aspire to be, y'all will believe what the fuck they say about this sort of shit and then go out there and make life hard for the people who making the accusation. It's rarely a case of somebody pulling up going, hey, man, I don't know whether he did it or not, so I'm not going. Nah, most of the time, motherfuckers pick a side. They pick a side. And again, fandom will have motherfuckers picking a side with the motherfucker who's potentially the predator. Because they are the ones in a position of power, financial power, all of that shit. So, of course, them saying and doing certain things to people that's under them, especially after the person made it clear they weren't interested. Right? That's not what they was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all believe it. I seen it. All a motherfucker gotta do is repeat a lie enough times for a lot of you. He said, yo, I've literally watched motherfuckers hit me with this as a reason why the other person didn't do it. No, because he said. That's evidence to you, because he said. Y'all can't be helped. Y'all can't be helped. If you think because the motherfucker said something, that means that's proof. And all of a sudden, we're supposed to shut our thinking off and just accept it because he said that. Good luck with that. You know what I'm saying? Good luck with that. And again, the fact when you mentioned that all online he has a myriad amount of defenders, that should not be surprising. Y'all defend anybody. Diddy had his defense. I saw all up and down the fucking timeline in comment sections. Motherfuckers defending Diddy. Defending him. I mean, going hard. Defaming the person. Don't know nothing about that person. But they automatically assume, oh, they lying. They try and get money. Can we also dispel the myth that just because someone is trying to get money, that means that they aren't to be trusted with what they say? Because I got to tell you, if a motherfucker violate you, and that shit has been affecting you since, the compensation, of course, for that would be twofold. Legal acknowledgement that this person did what I accused them of.
Yeah.
And then paying restitution as best as one could to make that person whole, or at the very least, make them feel like this person with this unlimited resources got hit. They actually felt it. Because an apology...
It's capitalism.
Yeah.
Capitalism is the reason that people react that way. Because you can't tell, there's nothing you can do to convince me that unless you are a multi-millionaire and above, that money couldn't improve your life.
Improve it, exactly.
There's nothing you can do to convince me of that. Now, you can convince me that there are things you put above money.
Yes.
Absolutely. 100%. There are things I put above money. Same. Absolutely. But you cannot convince me that money can't improve your life. Like, that's not a real thing.
It's dumb to even assume that you would expect us to believe you saying it. Like that shit. Who you think we fucking up?
The way I look at it is, if you did something wrong to me, I want my pound of flesh. However,
facts.
And it is a way that it is attached to me. I know. Everybody don't have to know, but certain ways of retaliation, other people can know.
Right.
Certain they can't. But so it is attached to me in a way that I know, and all those who were aggrieved know that it's attached to me. Yeah. And your life is made worse, and my life is made better. Yeah. Those are the three things that I need.
Yeah.
Now there are varying degrees of those three things, and there are varying different ways to make those three things happen. Facts. But that's what I need.
Facts. And in truth, y'all can't try to do both of these things, right? You can't celebrate a motherfucker for having a bunch of money and then demonize a motherfucker for trying to hit them in their pockets after they did some shit.
That part.
Like pick a fucking struggle with that. Because if you celebrating this motherfucker because they were a success, they made a lot of money, and the fact that they made that money is impressive to you, and also for many of you, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, y'all attach morality to riches. I don't know how y'all made that, squared that circle. I don't know how y'all squared that circle, right? But then you can't turn around when this motherfucker has been proven to have violated somebody and then get mad because the victim is and the lawyers is asking for money. First of all, somebody got to pay them lawyers. They're not doing that shit most of the time pro bono. You know what I'm saying? Secondly, if what happened was as egregious as what's being stated or accused of, there's some therapy that shit costs money. And also, it's like I've often said about people who lose loved ones, but then there's a financial weight on them. The grieving process is hard enough as it is. Mm-hmm. To then have a financial burden to deal with during that time. Same as this. The burden of the victim having to have had that on their chest this whole time. The trauma of how it may have affected how they feel and mentally perceive things. And then on top of that, to be broke? Nah, nigga, give them the money. Give them the money. They can sleep better.
I will not stand for it. It's just not how this is supposed to work. So yeah, similar to the Fat Joe thing, we don't know. We don't know. Anything can happen. Anything can come from this. True. I personally, the only thing that I'm invested in that could come negatively from him being convicted and all that other good stuff, convicted isn't the right word, but whatever, is that the black people will have one less revenue source. That sucks. But if he's doing shit like this, then he's not the one they should be getting it from anyway.
Because how you don't know how many other motherfuckers he.
There was somebody before that came out and never specifically stated his name, but there were very few people it could have possibly
talking about him.
There were very few humans in the world that it could have been.
That makes sense.
McKenna said, not to mention they fucking stupid. They fucking should get paid. Even putting aside the mental and physical distress, do these people not realize how much time and money it takes to put together a case? Facts.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So yeah, like it's a big deal. It's not some little thing. Like said, from time away from work for the plaintiff and a shit ton of work and others that need to be paid. Yeah. 1,000%. 1,000%.
Crazy.
So
nuts.
So going into week in review.
So I'll start. I have a couple of things, and then I have this observation that happened this week that I thought was a little bit crazy. I was entertained by it, but I still thought it was some of the responses I was sending people was nuts. So I was actually supposed to do two things this week. Do blood work and go get x-rays. I did none of those things this week because there was too much other shit I needed to take care of. And I was like, I just can't get away to go there for this. Mm-hmm. So I did schedule that shit for next week, right?
Word.
Get that out the way.
Early next week?
No. Thursday. Thursday next week. So I can just get that shit out the way. I really need them to look at this fucking arm because it's ass, right? It is. And I don't know what it is, but we're going to find out with that x-ray and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I had to check to make sure because there's so many changes happening with a lot of these insurance companies, and my insurance is no different. Are you paying for this x-ray shit? You should, because most of them do, but you got to check. And that's the thing one of the things too that I want to check your insurance. Check your insurance before you do certain shit, because your doctor's not. Your doctor, your primary caregiver, he's only concerned whether or not he's going to get paid. All right, not whether or not your insurance is. If he sends you to a specialist, make sure your insurance is paying for that, or if they're not, that you know that they're not, so you're already prepared for that shit, right? Because it get real out in these insurance fields. You know what I'm saying? It gets real out here with that. The main observation that I saw, and y'all gotta chill. You won't, but you got to.
Yeah.
Some of y'all will jump in and out of bed with people so fast it really has me dizzy and a little bit nauseous. Because I'm seeing a bunch of y'all making a big deal about Tucker Carlson having a spat with Ted Cruz over whether America should get involved in a war to help Israel against Iran. And I've got to be honest. I fail to see what's worth celebrating here. I mean, outside of the cheap thrill that I got as well of watching two assholes argue on TV, and also to watch one asshole adopt a position that just ripped the other ones apart, right? And it's a position that I think more in media need to do, but let's be clear. Because regardless of Tucker's stance on this particular issue, he is not your friend. Never has been. Because Tucker doesn't have a political soul. He's not guided by principles. He rides whatever narrative happens to be trending. When it suits him, he throws on a populist mask. When the winds shift, he snaps right back into the role of country club conservative. He's craven, opportunistic, and entirely committed to one thing, making as much money as possible. And let's not forget, he started off rich and married even richer. He's been well-connected and well-funded from day one. But because he made one comment that kind of overlaps with your viewpoint, suddenly some of you are ready to declare a win. And I see the same pattern happening with the red pill right-wing podcasters. You know the ones. You can count on one hand how many are finally turning on Trump. Not because of any moral clarity or personal growth, but simply because of his stance on this war. And suddenly, that's supposed to be a sign, a big breakthrough. I hate to be the one to burst the bubble. Actually, I don't. But you're wrong, and here's why. Ask yourself this. Why couldn't they see Trump for what he was from the beginning? The rest of us did. The second he came down that goofy-ass escalator, anyone with even a shred of sense could tell something was off. How he talked, what he believed, how he looked at the world. It didn't take a genius. It took basic pattern recognition. For those of us who are already familiar with him, either because we either lived in New York or just paid attention over the years, it was instant. We knew what it was. racism, sexism, corruption leaking out of every corner of his persona. None of it was new. None of it was hidden. And yet people backed him from the jump through all of it. And they wore that support like a badge of honor. They bragged about being able to stomach the bile he spewed. And every time we said, yo, this is wild, this is wrong, what the fuck? They sneered back. That's what I voted for. As if watching him destroy people's lives somehow made them feel vindicated.
Mm-hmm.
And now, some of them are turning on him. But only because of the threat of war. That's their breakthrough moment. Let me break it to you, though. If it took the looming specter of a major war to finally shake them, and even then, not all of them, then they were never standing on solid ground to begin with. And even now, a lot of these same folks are hedging, saying things like, well, I supported them on other stuff, or I like this policy, just not this. They feel like they've got to qualify their change of heart as if being a longtime supporter makes their pivot more authentic or meaningful. It doesn't. The bigger point here, the one y'all are missing, is this. They were fine with everything else. They were fine with the sedition, with him egging on a coup, with police officers getting beaten on January 6th after years of weaponizing back the blue rhetoric against black people. They were good with all of that. So what is the value of their support now? What's the value of their opinion ever when their moral compass has been spinning in circles this whole time? Their judgment was trash. And if you're looking to them for hope or validation now, then yours might be too. That's not coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of recognition. This isn't principled. It's desperate. And yeah, desperation can be a powerful motivator. But this ain't one of those times. Yikes. Y'all don't get the skeeve a little bit? Just a little bit. Like, that's good. That's enough. I am glad I am surrounded with people. I'm fortunate that I'm surrounded with people who saw that for what it was and took it for what it was worth without hailing Tucker as a progressive paragon. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Yeah, that was my week.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we start? I think I'll start with work. I hope I don't get in trouble for this. I'm just venting. Just venting. That's all. Just a little ventilation.
Trying to get
that
exhaust, that heat out.
Yeah, that's it. Trying to get the hot air out so it can regulate the inside of things.
I get it.
That's it. That's just a little, I'll try to rephrase some things so that only one or two people would actually know who I'm talking about if they hear it. The two people that would still be able to decipher what I'm talking about exactly. Mm-hmm. I don't believe
they watch the show.
Whatever, yeah. So imagine having a job where you're part of a relatively small department. There are the core people who work there day in and day out. Mm-hmm. And then there's somebody who is supposed to be there to assist whenever things that aren't anyone else's responsibility goes wrong. Mm-hmm. So 99% of the time, that extra person is not on your mind. So you tend to forget how terrible they are at their job.
Oh!
But then something goes down and suddenly you remember.
And suddenly life has me.
Now, I've explained how our firewall works at work on here before. It's a whitelist, meaning we have to allow everything through. Mm-hmm. Most of the time, everything runs smoothly. The vast majority of the time. Every now and then, there will be a new website that the jobs find out that they have to use for some reason, and I just go on the dashboard, I allow the new site, and everything works swimmingly. About 99% of the time. That's my experience.
Does it though?
Yeah. Then, in instances where the other 1% pop up, or in instances where a website decides to just make behind-the-scene changes, I have to do a little bit more work to get things up and running in those instances. Because the changes that they made are behind the scenes. So it's not readily apparent what I need to change. I need to do some research, some working. Cool. That's what I get paid to do. I get paid to work. That's inside the purview of what my contract says.
Wait, man, let's not gloss over this work thing.
A little bit. I mean, it's not my favorite part of it, but hey, it's what happens. It's what happens. I'm effectively insurance in that way.
You sell insurance?
No, I was about to say I wish. No, I don't even wish. But like I said, it's usually not the most difficult thing. It's just usually a little time consuming. Like, that's it. Okay. Very rarely, though, I've run into one where I just can't find all of the necessary things that I need to find in order to make it work.
Okay.
That's when I have to contact this other person. Now, about 3 weeks ago, one of the sites that the jobs use on a wide range of frequencies stopped working. I was informed about it maybe 3 or 4 days into the problem. Now, that's issue number one.
Yeah, I was about to say.
I can't fix your issue if I don't know that there's an issue. And what this website was, there's no way I would have ever known without somebody telling me. I don't ever have to use this website. Right. So, okay. So that's issue one. I did the things that I do.
What's that?
To attempt to fix it. No dice. I checked to make sure that the problem was actually the problem I thought it was by turning the firewall off. Surely enough, turn the firewall off, the site started working. Okay, cool. So it absolutely is something with the firewall. Bet.
Always nice to get verification.
Absolutely. I'm in trouble. That's what I do. Most of my job is troubleshooting and memory. It's either, I know what this is already. Let me fix it. Or this doesn't look quite familiar. Let me try these steps to make sure. So, yeah, makes sense. I tried over a course of a week to get it to work.
A week?
No dice. Okay. I told my supervisor, who's not my supervisor, about it and mentioned that people's work was starting to pile up because they couldn't get access to this site.
It's creating a problem now.
Yeah, that's a no-no. She told me to contact Yo and get them to work on it. And if they didn't respond, we would have to get somebody downtown to do these people's work until it was fixed because this shit needs to be done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Understood. Now, given what our reality is, that's the right answer. I just hate that that's what our reality is. This person should not be able to just not do one of the 15 things a year that we ask them to do and just get away with it. That should not be acceptable. But that is the reality. That's what the reality is. So I digress.
Yo, the 15 things a year is diabolical.
I might be slightly underselling it, but it ain't a whole. This person isn't a full-time employee. So, like, it's not like they have a long caseload of things that they have to maintain or no shit like that. No, they are. I mean, I don't know that. I'm not going to speculate on what their status is, but
let me do it. They don't have a whole lot. This time.
I mean, they have another job as well. Like they have a full-time job. No, this isn't their full-time job. So I am nothing if not fair, right? So I understand that.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Listen. Sometimes to my detriment, but it is what it is. So again, I want to be clear though. They're not terrible at their job because they aren't educated enough to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
It's other things. So I hit them up at like 11:30 a.m. Told them, hey, this is the problem. This is what's happening. Can you get to it today? It was a Friday. They told me they would be in the car. The exact words, I'll be in the car for a bit, but once I get to my location, I'll look into it. Okay, that's perfectly fine because they actually communicated. Bet.
Sounds
More
good.
on that later. They get back to me at like 8 p.m. So over 8 hours later. But not a huge deal. It's just that under what scale is 8 hours later a bit? What? Okay, fine, whatever. So they messaged me back and forth a few times and said that they fixed the issue. Now, I had no way of checking that because I was in my fucking room. So I had no way of checking, but they given what they know, given how qualified they are to actually do the job, given the tools at their disposal, I had no reason to believe that they didn't fix the issue.
Right.
Okay. Right. I said, okay. I said, thank you. Now, I go in the next Monday, and I didn't even bother to check because, again, they generally know what they're doing. And anytime I've had to get them involved in something, specifically this type of thing, when they said it was fixed, it was fixed.
Yeah.
So I didn't check.
Unfortunately, that shorthand can get you jammed up sometimes.
Well, I get out to the jobs, and it's one agent at one particular job that no matter what, anytime I saw her, she would ask me about it every single time she saw me. She asked again that day.
How many times a day would you see her?
No, I would only see her 2 times a week.
I was wondering because damn.
No. I would only see her 2 times a week.
Imagine every time you walk in the room.
There's no way in the world. No, it's not. No, something had to happen. So she asked that day. So clearly, the issue wasn't fixed.
Yeah, right? Clearly.
So the next day, after I was able to fully verify and all that other good stuff, I texted this person that was supposed to have fixed it and sent them a message telling them that whatever they did not fix the issue. And I sent them a screenshot of the issue still happening. Their response to me was, that's on that company's side.
Yo.
If you try it from any computer, you'll get the same message.
Really?
Right? So I responded back with a screenshot from my phone of the website properly working. No response.
Hold up. Whoa. No response?
No response.
Because I think that kind of does require a response.
You would think. Now, this is why I never contact them by myself. Anytime I talk to them, it's through text and it's a group chat with at least my boss. Sometimes my boss and my supervisor, not my supervisor, because sometimes it's something that requires both of us to work on something. But if it's just something that I'm working on, it's this person and my boss every time. Because I'm not playing. One thing you're not going to do is make it seem like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. We're not doing that part.
Quick question. Are you, in fact, doing what you're supposed to be doing?
Nigga. So, because the motherfucker will just ignore a question. Or like disappear randomly in the middle of a conversation.
I don't like that Batman shit, yo.
I'm not getting in trouble. Shit. Right. I'm not getting in trouble for nobody not doing their job.
Facts.
Cover your ass. Right? So now on top of you ignoring me, don't insult my fucking intelligence.
Uh-oh.
See, I'd rather someone cuss me out than play with my intelligence. Low key, I'd be less pissed if you physically assaulted me than insulting. I ain't gonna hold you, yo. Like, because we're not gonna play. One thing I don't do.
Yo.
I don't, like, if you actually have had a real conversation with me, you'll know I don't think I'm right about everything. I don't purport to be right about everything. But the shit I know is the shit I know. Like, what are we talking about here? Like I always say over here, I'm quick to throw you I don't know.
Yo said, I would much rather you hit me with an assault and battery.
Nigga, punch me in my face.
Attempt to insult my
before you, nigga, punch me in my face before you insult my.
No, I respect it though. Like, put some blood in my mouth because we not doing that. Like,
nigga, like I don't understand. Like, what? How?
And you might have to after doing it.
Hey,
right? You might have to. Like,
so, I know how this shit works. I know how to fucking troubleshoot. But you picked out and set up this firewall and refused to give us training on it. So this is your issue to fix, not mine. I've done all the things that you have translated for me. I've done all those things. Didn't work. Okay. Next stop is you.
Right. Right.
So I let a couple days go by. And I sent another message. This time it was a video of me disabling the firewall, going over to the next tab, loading the site working, going back to the first tab, enabling the firewall, coming back to the other tab.
I knew it.
Reloading it. Call it what you want. Reloading the site and the message popping up. No response.
Oh.
So Monday morning, I messaged again. Hey, what's up with the update? Because people not able to do their work. No pleasantries. No. Get this shit fixed. Like, what are you doing? People aren't able to do their fucking work because you haven't done your job. Do your job. So by the time I went out to the field that day, the agents were able to get to the site again. Okay. Funny how that works, right? Mm-hmm. The next morning, I get a text from this motherfucker talking about, at 8 o'clock in the morning, talking about they tried it at one of the locations and it was now working and they didn't make any changes. Bullshit.
Oh, come on.
Bullshit.
Like, yo.
Bullshit.
Yo, stop it, bitch.
Bullshit.
Stop it.
Either this is the biggest coincidence ever, or you're fucking lying.
He's lying.
So when my boss got in that day, she walked up to me and asked if the jobs were working. And I told her, because she saw that damn message. And I told her, yeah, it was working yesterday by the time I got out to the field. And they're probably lying about this. And she said, yeah, she's caught them before doing a thing that they forgot to do after the fact and pretending that it was some miracle.
Yeah.
In this instance, I think they just couldn't admit that they were wrong. Because they straight out told me with their whole chest that it was something that it wasn't. And it turned out that I was actually right.
Don't you find that problematic as fuck, right? So not only did you not do what you were supposed to do when you were supposed to do it, but then you try to, instead of using the cover your ass adage in the sense of, let me do this, knock this out, so that you used it in the sense of, oh shit, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, let me cover it up.
Right. No, that's not how the fuck this works. Here's the other reason why I do not believe that shit, is because during the early stages of this problem, some of the agents had called the company and they were like, no, it's not us, it's on y'all end. Now, that's not true, right? In the sense that it is them. It is the company. The company changed something about their website, right?
Right.
But they just don't understand that that's what caused the issue.
Right.
So that is true that it was on them, but initially the entire thing was their issue, their fault.
Right.
But finding the site is something that, even though I feel should be their responsibility, they should tell their fucking customers when they make a change to their website.
Absolutely.
But it is something that was within our means to fix. So for you to say, "Oh no, that's every site," no, here's
no,
it's every computer. No, and go into there from any computer, you'll see that. No, here, not the case. Next day, hey, maybe you didn't like it because it was my phone. Here's a video of the computers that we here. You see how that went to the site, and then when I put the firewall back on, it didn't go to this. Yeah, so
that's the problem.
No, it's us. I mean, it is them. It is them, but it's us in the context of what we're talking about. So, yeah, there was that.
I would have been a bit annoyed.
Nigga, what really got me to let it go is my boss understanding and knowing.
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, it wasn't my work that was being held up.
True.
On top of that, there was no pressure on me for anything. This is
well, technically, these other people that needed that fix needed that.
Oh yeah, they might have felt some pressure towards me, but it's not. Look, I try my best not to punish people for their ignorance in certain situations. Just them not knowing that it wasn't on me is not necessarily their fault.
Depending on what it is.
Yeah, it depends on what it is.
I will always make you pay for your ignorance.
No, it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. Like in this situation, the worst they could do to me, nobody did. The worst they could possibly have done is like complain to my boss or some shit like that.
That's true.
But nobody did. So like I ain't tripping off them. The most anybody did was when I came to their office saying, "Hey, is it fixed yet?" No, it's not. Oh, okay. That was the worst anything anybody did. So like I'm not mad at none of them. They wanted to be able to do their fucking work.
Is it fixed? Oh hell no! You know, with your whole face,
right? That part, yeah. Like no, they're like what? So yeah, that was the worst anybody did. So I wasn't tripping off them.
These are the people that needed that fix. These are hourly employees, right?
Yeah.
See, that's why
these are full-time people.
Yeah, they're hourly. Like I gotta be here anyway, so fix it. But whatever.
I mean, there was one or two people that was like, I need this done. And it's like, oh, you can need all you want. That don't really change the reality of things. Yeah, this. Hey, Mr. James, is this fixed yet? No, it's not fixed. It's absolutely not fixed. Do you have any idea how long? No, I do not have any idea how long it's going to take. We are working on it.
Yo, I am still over here tripping on the fact that niggas like, hey, Mr. James.
Right. It's like, bro, like, what are we doing here?
Hey, call this nigga Mr. James.
Get your shit.
That's crazy.
Anyway, but yeah, that motherfucker. Like, and generally, the issue with this person is their timeliness. But this time, you're not going. First of all, you're not going to gaslight me.
Right.
Do your fucking job, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's that simple. Ain't nobody asking you to spend a whole bunch of time with this. Like, you set up the system. You chose the system. You should know how to fix this.
Yeah.
I didn't set this shit up. If it was something that I would have had to do the research for to choose, I would know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But I don't. So, and you won't fucking give us any information about that. So, because my personal opinion, nobody said this. This is not proven. My personal opinion is that's your way of job security. Is having things that we can't do. Because we are fully capable. Me and my supervisors, not my supervisor, are fully capable of doing all the shit that this person does for us. It's just that the specifics of some of these things, they gatekeep so that they're the only person that knows what is going on. And I feel like that's simply because of fucking job security.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Keep going. I can hear you.
So another thing that happened, I'm working on assisting on doing a music video for Gigi and her band, Unlisted After Death. And yesterday was the rehearsal. I want to say first rehearsal. I'll say. Um, that was an experience. Um, I thoroughly enjoy the way that she handled everything. Like she put the script together, and she played the role of like the main director. Like, and then she leaned on me and another person who has some experience with filming, um, as far as some of the more particular things and as far as the performances are concerned. So that was amazing and fun to do. Um, it's like let me see, in the car is one scene, in the bedroom is another scene, in the living room, in the kitchen. Then I was like a 5 scene music video. I imagine the whole thing will probably, like the final product, will probably be like somewhere between. I don't know. I don't remember how long the song is, but let's say if we're calling it a 3 minute song, the whole video might be like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, or something like that. Um, so that's gonna be dope. There's a whole narrative to it and all that other good shit. Um, I got to use uh, a couple tools that either I haven't used in forever or that I used for the very first time in practice. Um, we're gonna do a whole behind the scenes thing, probably a blooper reel. I got some recordings of the car scene and some other type stuff. Like that was all dope, and it was all fun. Um, I can't wait. I think we're supposed to shoot the video in early August, so that'll be fun because it has to be early August because July is absolutely. I feel like every week I come on here and talk about how busy my next 3-4 weeks is going to be without fail. Like every single week I do that, and it's still remaining the same. This goddamn wedding, and like I said, with the wedding, with just incorporating myself with another human being who has 75 friends, um, like all of this stuff, and then some of them becoming my actual people.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, because like this music video don't got anything to do with Chrissy. It's right. Me and Gigi were talking one day, and we were like, "Yo, we do way too much stuff to not do stuff together." And I'm like, "Nigga, like, what do you need? What do you need?"
This is literally a very similar refrain. When me, this nigga, and Keith met, niggas do too much to not do shit together. Same shit. Like that. The whole when we first met in person, it was at a Comic-Con in Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
And that day I will never forget because I swear to you, we have pictures from that day where we look like we worked for a media outlet or some shit. Facts. We had so much camera equipment.
Facts. All facts.
The Keith had on that hat.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like it should have like a press card thing.
Facts. 1,000%.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how the music video idea came about. That's how the book thing came about. We got a couple other things that we working on putting together. So yeah, like that was like dope. Yeah,
I like.
Absolutely.
I like because like you said, man, you got people that do all the thing. One thing I noticed about my friend group is that literally everybody that I have become friends with in the last, I want to say 12 years, they all do some shit.
Yeah.
Like the friends
Niggas
I've had
help
that I knew before, some of them, it's every single one do something. Like Cindy make dice. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody does something.
Facts. So that was absolutely fun, and I can't wait to shoot. I have a couple concerns about just the overall of the video shoot, but I don't think there'll be big issues. I think.
Wait a minute, are you doing the final edit? Who's on the final cut?
So, God damn it, Tim! I was kind of trying to avoid this. Give me a second.
See, the reason I always ask that is because it's a lot of work in getting the scenes right, filmed right. It's a lot of work doing that.
Yeah.
But you guys, if you don't do it, you have no idea the amount of work it takes to compile all of those clips.
That part. Put them shit. So it hasn't been explicitly stated, but what I feel is I should not be doing I should not be doing the edit. I'm going to leave that to the other filmmaker that's involved. If I get any say so. If I'm asked to contribute, then I will absolutely contribute because that's how that goes. But if I have my druthers, then I will not be editing a motherfucking thing.
It's a lot, bro.
The only thing I will be doing is putting the color back on the C-Log footage. Outside of that, there you go.
Yeah, hey, take this. Take that.
Because, like I said, I got some behind the scenes and blooper shit that I'm probably going to put the color on today and send that to Gigi. Like, hey, do with this whatever you will. It's your footage. Whatever you want to do, however you want to freak this, go ahead and do that. So
one thing I want to respond to Ryan. That is absolutely a fact. He says produce your own music. That's what my band and I are doing. This is something that I've done for years. SPJ produces his own music. I produce my own music. There is a freeing aspect to being able to make your music from concept to conclusion.
Yeah.
However, there is something to be said about getting other producers to create shit, because what I have found is, so when I first started, I didn't have a producer at all. And then at a certain point, I met my first producer, Sean Black. Sean made all the beats. He did like any studio shit we did. He was literally in there engineering. Even if there was an engineer there, he was in there doing that. And that was all gravy. Then when Sean stopped doing music, I had to learn how to do that shit myself. Right? So that's what I did. For a while, I was the only one making beats for me. And then right around 2012, I started to get beats from other producers. And what I found with that was different styles bring different performances out of you. So if at the time, because I was only rapping to my beats, there was a certain style that I always employed. It wasn't until I got a different producer to do a beat for me where I realized, oh yeah, because they see it different. They got a different, so it forces me to go into my rap trick bag to adjust to their shit. Now, there's a couple of caveats here. I gotta like the beat.
Yeah, I mean, sure, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised how many motherfuckers I've met in this shit who don't have to like the beat. But if people tell them that this is going to be a hit or whatever, they just jump on to it. I'm not that way. Like, I need to hear it and they need to make me want to freestyle to it, right? So, but self-production is still a way to go. It is, because the level of independence allows you to put out a project that you did yourself without having to wait on motherfuckers to do anything.
Thanks. 100%. And speaking of Gigi, we have Arthur Watch. Nigga. So I got the assessment back from her. She told me not to quit my. Okay. She told me not to quit my day job. So
no, she didn't.
Arthur Watch has officially come to an end, and I'll be going back to my other creative outlet exclusively and expeditiously. That is contingent, of course, upon me surviving the duel that I have set up with her husband for her speaking to me in that manner. So if I make it through that, I'll be going back to the old shit that I was doing. No, obviously, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. God damn it. Hold on. Give me a second. Honestly, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as I thought it would be. Because we internalize shit like that. That's the whole imposter syndrome thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about being an artist.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time when you literally had no choice.
Yeah.
Because if you was trying to do some shit, there was a lot less independence on the writer's behalf, being able to put their shit out there, self-produce and self-publish and all that other shit. But so you would have to hear it. Like the A&R going to tell you, the producer going to tell you, the record company going to tell you, this ain't it. Like it was but when you start being a bit more, independent, you don't have to hear it as much.
Yeah.
But every time it stings. Like,
every time.
So it's a way you're supposed to say that shit.
Yeah. So she asked me to add another chapter to Act 1, just to add a bit more suspense before that climax. And I had completely misunderstood the character of hers that I incorporated into the last chapter that I wrote. So I realized
right there.
Well, I realized that the end of Act 1 actually, like after she said those things, I went back and looked at everything, and I realized that the end of Act 1 broke off from my strictly alternating POV switches. Yeah. So I put the additional chapter there to restore that alternating POV, and I like what I did with it. It's shorter than most of the chapters, but I think it's perfect right there, and it holds its own. As for her characters, what I did was I just added a scene to an earlier chapter where both of her characters are introduced together, and then the chapter that I wrote, I just made a new character for that person and made the necessary rewrites to form them into their own person, right, versus getting rid of that chapter. Because she was like, no, do not get rid of that chapter.
Right.
But it just isn't that person. That person wouldn't behave that way.
Right.
And I was like, all right, because what I was going to originally do, because she was like, it's more likely that the other character that I created would do that. So originally what I was going to do is just switch the two. Mm-hmm. But I was like, no, I want it to be a little more challenging than that. So I just removed that character completely and created an entirely new character that would be more likely to behave in that way instead of just simply swapping the two right now. But I didn't like that. I mean, not that I didn't like that I did, but if the point of this, I feel like the point in anything that I do creatively, part of that point is supposed to be like growth, right? And getting better at it. So I don't disagree. I'm going to go ahead and challenge myself in that way. Like, all right, cool. The reason I had her create these characters was, one, because I'm new to novel writing, but also because she is a woman. I am not. But with her approval of everything else that I was doing, I was like, I can stand to create this other character who is not going to be a main character and have her be a woman, especially since I got two characters from Gigi that are both women. So I'm fine with that. And I redid all of that, and I'm like, oh, this works so much better now. Also, I don't know if I started doing the full outline chapter by chapter for the next book. I'm not gonna start writing that until this is over. I don't think I'm gonna start writing that until I finish writing this one. Like, yeah, it really depends. It really like if I feel like I need a break, I might just put that time towards writing the new one.
Yeah. I feel like though, like with me, I take breaks because you got to clear your head. And then, but even in the midst of those breaks, if an idea hits me, I jot it down. Just like there are more characters and more civilizations that need to be added to the Centauri Council and the E&E store. So each of us, Graydon, myself, and Honey Dragon, take it upon ourselves to create two different. Each one of us create two different species that can go up on the council. So in the process of me fleshing out the one, another idea came out in my head for another. So because of the way my brain works, if I don't jot this down, I'll forget it. But what I will remember is the fact that I had a great idea, and that will plague me. It will actually plague me forever, right?
Negative.
So I can't have that happen. So I got to jot it down so that I can get back to it and remember. This, by the way, is the same thing that happens with bars. Like I could be walking somewhere and the bar is hitting me. Ooh, that shit hot. I will pick my phone up real quick and put that shit in there. Don't know where it's going to go. But at some point, I'm going to be writing something. I'm going to be reaching for something. Oh, here we go. This is going in here. This worked just fine. It's part of the process. That's what it is. It's part of the process.
100%. And like I say, I like the challenge of it. So I'm not. I'd rather not take the easy way out. The only time I want to take the easy way out is for tedious shit.
Yes.
Like some organizational thing or some shit like that. Like, yeah, no, I don't. No, I need this to be succinct. I need it to be potent enough for me to get the point from it. But I don't need to spend a whole bunch of time doing repetitive. Like, no, I'm not doing that.
I feel you.
But this issue that's happening is absolutely getting on my nerves, and we're close enough. So yeah, that's it.
We want to thank all of you once again for joining us for another rousing edition of the Black Culture Geeks podcast. Remember, there is always music.
Always.
There is music from the past, music in the present. There'll be music in the future.
Absolutely, there will.
So, what we would love for you guys to do.
I just got a feature back.
You just got a feature back
like 2 days ago.
See, that this is gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
So we would just appreciate you guys run our numbers up. Any way you want to listen to it.
That's it.
You want to listen to it on Spotify? Listen on Spotify.
Go ahead.
You want to listen on iTunes? Go listen on iTunes. But go and listen. Yeah. Run it up. Have it playing in the background. You know what I'm saying? Also, not just us.
No.
Addie has music coming. I am certain that Graydon has some music somewhere in the pipeline. So must GA. But even if they don't, go listen to their old shit.
They got a catalog.
They got a catalog. Go listen to it.
That's it.
But yeah. Also, don't forget to check out my sister, his significant other, Chrissy's Heard It Through the Grapevine podcast for co-host Gigi.
Yep.
Go check them out. It's funny.
It's hilarious.
It's really, it really is hilarious. Right? And yeah, don't forget to check out Metas and Mutants with Super Side Guy and my dog Hendrick.
Indeed.
Go check it out. What else do you have to lose?
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you.
And of course, there's Majestic Comics that got 3 books out. We're about to do a Kickstarter for another one. It's different IP. It's Singularity from Emmy Award winning Christopher Colburn.
Indeed.
You got SPJ with writing his novel.
Mm-hmm.
He has a comic book universe he's working on. Listen.
There's a lot of stuff going on. We be doing things. It's a thing. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. So, for my man SPJ, I am Tombstone the Dead Man, and for the greater world entertainment family, we are out.
Peace.